Hello and welcome. If this is your first time tuning into the channel and tuning into this game, because this is a new game on the channel, I'm going to be streaming this live to Twitch under the username Willcall and uploading the local recording to YouTube under the username Willcall100. The plan right now is to play Solar Nations 2. Didn't necessarily know if the music in this game is YouTube friendly. None of the people that I've watched play it on YouTube, I think, had the music running as far as I'm aware. So I've turned it off just in case it isn't. And instead I'm playing Stellaris soundtrack in the back, which is why you see the little words up there saying background music is the Stellaris soundtrack. Don't want to convince you it's the Solar Nations 2 one. Because I don't think, well, it isn't, it's the Stellaris one. And I've sort of jury-rigged a method to make it work, so if the music cuts out during the stream tonight, that's probably what's happened. Probably won't fix it if it breaks. But yeah, today the plan is to do Solar Nations 2, and let's hop into it. So we're going to be single player. Most of the people that I've seen play the game have been playing Age of Information, because it's basically setting it in the real world, the modern world, instead of what's recommended, which is the Twilight of Modernity, which is what I'm going to play today. I'm going to go for the recommended scenario. And we're going to go for a red Mars. We're going to pick one of the Marxists on Mars and try to make Mars red. See how well that goes. So by default, it comes in and sort of splashes you on Earth with a couple different interesting nations for Earth. We're going to go pop over to Mars because I want to do a red Mars. There are two Marxist administrations on Mars. We're going to do the Red Planet Alliance because it's the bigger of the two. I may not win. In fact, I probably won't win. I may even, in fact, lose fairly quickly here because I'm not very experienced at the game. Syndicate Protector, which is the smaller of the two, is actually implied to be the easier start. I'm not so sure why. Whereas the one we're going to be doing here is the Red Planet Alliance. Both of them you can see... Oh, well, actually, maybe because the Syndicate Protector has more population. That might be what it is. Very low population, and as a side effect, is considered high difficulty. Otherwise, we're going to basically leave it on the base settings here, as you can see in the bottom right corner. And then we are that growing area on Mars to start. So popping in. We start off with egalitarianism, so the rural laborers like us a little bit more, but the aristocrats dislike us. We get a little bit better unit morale. We also start in a military alliance with suppose this is sort of NATO, but this is sort of NATO for the communists here, with the Lunar Red Army. One of our main enemies here on the moon, or on Mars, is going to be the United Colonies. The United Colonies basically being Republican, the Republican Successionist colony on Moon and the Mars. So we're sort of in alliance with their the lunar equivalent to us against the Americans, because we are at the Red Planet Alliance. We are actually American. We are the American communists on Mars, basically, because America had a whole civil war, and we're what's left on Mars. Gonna put that away. So there's a couple different ways I think to start this opening. Obviously, we've got neighbors. We could try to invade the neighbors. But at the moment, they don't necessarily have very much for us to take. And integrating them is going to destabilize us. And while we have a lot of stability right now, I'd rather use it on policies and getting our Marxist beginnings here by sort of seizing the means of production, let's say. So first, let's sort of check in on taxes. We don't have, in fact, at 15% taxes. With resource and income tax being the same, we actually get more from resources already to give us an idea of how small our population is. So income tax is basically a tax on working population. Resource tax is a tax on sort of resource production, industrial production. Privatization, I believe, is also considered a tax. I'm gonna crank that, or do I keep that relatively low? I might aim for... I've done a couple different test games, just to make sure the game runs. Might aim for keeping these guys at 60%. We'll do some privatization, but we won't go fully ham on it. And then resource tax, I don't really care too much about those factions. The aristocrats are going to be grumpy no matter what we do here at the beginning. And then income tax, I think we want to probably actually keep income tax fairly low. Because we just don't have enough people. On the other hand, I do probably want to make these groups happy, so let's pop over to stability. By default, we start with the ruling coalition being the military. And I think I want to give policies to the rural laborers and the middle class. Middle class to make them happy so they stop giving unrest chance, and the rural laborers to buff their development equilibrium. And this is what's going to mostly eat our stability here at the beginning. There's maybe even an argument to kick the military out and push push the middle class in, but we'll keep the middle class outside of government for the moment. So I'm going to start off by handing them... If we had a lot of stability... Well, to be fair, we have a lot of stability, but we're going to spend most of it right now. I could go ahead and give them economic freedom, which would probably be pretty strong, but we're going to delay that because I don't think we're going to sustain our stability here. Research sector, we're not going to use that right away. Don't want to lower any of the other factions' opinion. Like we're going freedom of speech and upward mobility here. Go securely. Middle happiness for the middle class. The middle class is not too uppity. And then I will give something to the rural laborers. I go with competitive employment here. Yeah, we'll go competitive employment here. There we go. So then stability should be trending up, which is good. But for the moment, the stability is low, so we're not going to start anything war-wise. Instead, we're going to be focusing mostly on building up our industry. But let's move into diplomacy before we unpause. So, I want to do some diplomacy with people on Mars. We are the Red Planet Alliance. There's the Cynic Protectorate. This is, I believe, the former Chinese colonies on Mars. We're going to improve relations with them, and we're going to invite them to the United Revolutionary Front. They're the other Marxists on the moon. So we're ironing the other Marxists. And then the next best thing after actual Marxists apparently is the French. So we're going to improve relations with the French. For our opening diplomacy here. And let's go pass out some edicts. Not too worried about build speed. I think we're going to go extraction subsidies. Right now it only does one thing one place, but we're going to do that everywhere because we're going to be spreading out extraction. Oh, I'm noticing the admin efficiency in Jehovah is low. That's because I haven't done anything with cultures. So, here as the Red Planet Alliance, we are primarily made up of Marxists, which is, I think, basically Red Americans, Marxist Americans. We have Jehovah's Witnesses, Martian Americans, and Caps. We are going to promote the Jehovah's Witnesses and the Martian Americans to be accepted cultures. And that should, over time, if we go back to edicts, raise the resting administrative efficiency in Jehovah, so we can do edicts there without losing tax revenue. And I think the other one I'll go ahead and put out right now is increased taxation. Unlike extraction subsidies, which you can see, I think it was already giving us 266 currency on the one place which has extraction. Increased taxation is doing barely anything. It's like 3, 5, 2. We might not keep this, we might swap this out to something else, but right now I have enough admin efficiency in a bunch of places that we can benefit from this. We'll do two places where we're going to stay over 100% if we do them. So we've done diplomacy, done that. Do I want to start off with colonizing or raising a defensive army? I think we'll start off with some colonizing. While we're paused here. I think we want to go someplace that has nuclear fuels, that is adjacent to our existing stuff. So looking like there. Yeah, there. So we got Braskingonia, which has water, iron, nuclear fuels, or we can go in here, which has water, iron, nuclear fuels, and the same sort of, right? In fact, I think this is the richer of the two. So let's start here. 10 colonists. We have, it shows up here as 12. This is actually 12k manpower. So we got enough manpower, got enough money. So we'll send that colonist off. Get that going. It's tempting to build infrastructure now, but I'm going to pass up on that. Because as you can see, we don't have very much money. I just spent 13% of the entire treasury. And we're not making very much, so we don't necessarily want to be running a heavy deficit. Then I want to go around region by region and get something under construction that sort of plays off of the existing resources. For example, I don't have nanocomposites, can't do anything with the titanium, but we do have iron, so we can do, or do have steel refinery, which plays off of the iron, and will get us some more income. Find it. There it is. So let's go to gross income of 796. In theory, we'll have a 25% tax rate, so we're not going to get a full 796, but that's more than nothing. And I think that's per level. So we got some sector level effects, both from the iron and from the extraction subsidies. So this is going to generate. Then it might imply right there. Go through one by one. I'm basically going to spend the treasury on trying to make more income. So we got iron here, so it's another steel refinery. We got iron here, so another steel refinery. We got iron here for another steel refinery. Delta Base notably has water. It also has lithium for electronics, so we're probably going to do hydroponics into hydroponics into, what's that one called? Electronics. Each of the sort of sectors we has a global bonus for the highest one you have. Right now, refining is providing us a 3% building cost reduction. So I do want the highest water I can get. Basically, the highest of each sector we can get at least one of. So in this place, we're going to do farming. It's already got the steel refinery done as well, so there's no reason to do the steel refinery here because it's done already. What if I find hydroponics farming? This is going to empower the middle class. We want the middle class to be powerful and happy, so that works out. We have the Lost Colonies here. Notably, the Lost Colonies actually has a bigger iron deposit than any place else, so we definitely want the steel refinery here. That leaves us with 42,000 left. I'm going to spend that on building a little bit of infrastructure. Well, actually, I'll build out all the infrastructure in the Ballad of Zion so we don't lose it. It basically gives us a 10% head start on rapidly developing the location. Did put us a little bit into debt, but I think that is fine. And with that, I think I've covered everything we're going to do. Again, I could technically get a little bit more tax revenue by raising the income tax, but I think we'll roll with what we've got here. We want stability to trend back up, so nothing else we want to do with stability. Research. We're not going to run any military for the moment. Hopefully that does not come back to bite me in the butt. Didn't I already... by starting the invite here, I've put it up for a vote. Everyone, because we're trying to invite a Marxist, everyone's in favor of it, so it should go through pass pretty easily. warning that we're in debt, but it's fine. Let's pop in here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab our initial tech. We're going to go spaceports, in case I want some spaceports later. And then we're going to pop over into Unity, and we're going to do Unity techs. Starting first, because we're on Mars, and Mars does not have perfect habitability. The habitability tech into resource capacity, into education, into political innovation, unrest reduction, and integration. Because at that point, we'll start thinking about actually starting to fight people. Once we're done with that, and then I should do society cohesion and political colonization. Once we're done with that queue, we'll revisit the tech tree. That's enough to start. And a good 16 minutes into the game, we're gonna go ahead and pause. Oh, I'm gonna let the game go fairly slowly here at half speed. And we do have a little bit of a manpower deficit, because apparently I'm pulling more manpower than I have. That's not a big concern. We don't actually have an army, so reinforced and unit morale is not an issue. Okay, so the vote went through. The Syndic Protectorate did join the United Revolutionary Front. Let's pop back into diplomacy. We can invite one group to the front at a time. So we just brought in the Syndic Protectorate. The French are not interested. Anyone else interested in joining? Organizational treaties. They're only off by 15. Oh no, that's diplomatic annexation. Integrate them into the thing. Oh, only off by 12. So we can probably invite the French in at some point. If you turn the filter off, I could go invite Mozambique to join the front. Sure, why not? Everyone's in favor of it. No opposition to that. We're no longer in debt, although we're not that rich. And to be fair, a lot of that's going to get spent. Well, we'll keep spending money, right? Just not much point in trying to build things out while they won't be. It's not worth taking debt until we're immediately going to be benefiting from it, in theory. So, for example, all of our regions are actively building something, so there isn't a reason to go for another build until it finishes. Basically save up in the meantime. Nope, and manpower's up, so we're no longer taking the manpower mouths, which is good to see. I do have... Oh, because the construction in the capital finished already. Don't have what it takes to build out the nano composites yet. Otherwise, we'd probably do nano composites in the capital. I think we'll hold off on building anything else in the capital for the moment. And to save up, because we're going to want... The Ballad of Zion here, for example, is one of the places we're going to build a bunch of stuff. Basically take advantage of the existing resources, so we're probably going to build... actually, start off with the nuclear fuels. We'll probably start a power plant to start with, into iron, into lithium, that sort of stuff. We can basically make sense to do any sort of resource extraction stuff. So it is also maybe a little tempting here to do hydroponics farming, because that would have some gross income. Electronics does, but everything we build, every time we build another thing, it adds additional cost to the initial buy, and not all the things are upkeep free. So for example, here we can see the electronics factory has some upkeep, so we probably want to build it someplace where it generates enough gross revenue to pay for itself, which here in the capital doesn't appear to be the case. But because the capital is done, I can go ahead and sell some industrial capacity on the global market. Generate a little bit more revenue. Unpause and let some time pass. Whereas everywhere else is slower building than the capital, so we gotta wait until it builds. The place that I'm most interested in here is Delta Base, because we have the lithium. So we're gonna want to do the electronics there in a Delta Base. And that's gonna be Ballad of Zion, probably for expansion. The industries, as soon as that's colonizing. You can see that the United Colonies here has expanded to this region. Got there is done a little bit sooner than ours. And we are spacefaring civilizations. There's nothing necessarily stopping us from jumping over someone other than the fact that you would need to use some spaceship capacity to do that. Okay, Ballad of Zion is done. Let's open up construction here with nuclear reactors to get some energy sector going. We'll get something like a level 3 energy sector. Still might actually be net paying on that, but I think that's worth it for the sector bonus. Delta Base has finished its hydroponics farm, so I'm going to follow that up with the electronics factory because of the lithium. And then we'll pause and let stuff back. Oh, I should start colonizing another place. Mascara for another nuclear material. I don't really need another nuclear material right away. I think we'll go here for the large iron deposit. Also bonus to manufacturing sector of heavy metals. So yeah, we'll go there for that combo. So we'll play you. This is putting us into debt doing all these builds back to back. I won't do infrastructure here because I'll try to save the money for the bit. I think the big thing that put us into debt was actually the nuclear reactor. It was either that or might have been the electronics factory. And a lot of our construction is finishing, so we're seeing that we're getting a lot more income. Although the first bout of construction was obviously the most profitable bout of construction that we're going to get for a while. You have, because a lot of that is industry, we've got more industrial capacity I can export. And let's revisit edicts. So extraction subsidies. Now that we've built those industries, you can see it's worth a lot more. We're going to add there because now that we've accepted the culture there, we've got better admin, and then in the Ballad of Zion as well, because we're about to get some extractive industries there. I think the nuclear reactor will count. Then we'll do increased taxation wherever we can keep it over 100%. Research complete, so our spaceport research is completed. If we end up with a territory with some very bad resources, we'll probably toss the spaceport there. Okay, nuclear reactor is done. because the one nuclear reactor we've got done is giving us an energy sector level 3 that is providing a plus 0.075 stability gain. So we really care about that first nuclear reactor, and then past there we only care about if they're making money. I don't necessarily know if this one is actually making us any money. I think this is having an upkeep cost, but that might actually be eating the entire cost. Yeah, income negative here, project upkeep minus a K, resource tax plus a K. Rounding out to about a negative 15 income, so it probably for negative 15 income that was fine to have one nuclear reactor, but we definitely don't need more as of now. This is a place where we have other resources. We have iron, we have lithium, we have heavy metals, we have water. I think if I can get a manufacturing place, we'll get a play off the heavy metals here. I think you're manufacturing. Oh, maybe the consumer goods is not the factory. Region modifier, manufacturing sector level. You play off the manufacturing sector level. Yeah. So let's do the consumer goods. This is going to cost us 39k up front, bit expensive. It should be pure profit otherwise. And then Delta Base, the only place where we've got anything else building. Whoops. Turn one of my edicts on and off. Yes. We've now entered the second era. So on this start date, you don't spend very long in the industrial era. The second one is the information age. Or no, we moved from the information age, which had a slight integration cost reduction. Or increase to the age unraveling. So now we get an access to an extra culture trait. Right now we don't have any situations going on due to the era. But we could have one. Okay, let's put edicts away before I talk about edicts too much. Colony is about to finish. 94%. And then Delta Base, we're just about to finish the electronics factory. And that should have boosted income. I think it did. So we got electronic factory. Yeah, which I think is increasing the resource tax there. Game could work a little bit better on giving breakdowns for how things affect things. And then the new region is done. The big new resource in the new region that we don't have elsewhere, because we have heavy metals over here, is a big deposit of steel. Let's go ahead, because it's going to be reasonably cheap to pick up that steel refinery. So I'm going to get a level 6 source of steel, or 6 additional levels, so it's going to be 7 total, effectively, building the steel refinery here. That's what it's saying, 7.0. Gonna provide us over 100 industrial capacity that we can export, and should effectively pay itself back in under 5 years. So we'll take a little bit more debt to get that done. And where to start colonizing next? We don't have any competitors yet. I think we'll start with this one. So 20k up front to get it started, but we're going to get started and we're just going to let it roll at min speed. Oh, and I suppose we maybe can run some... Yeah, we can run one in the new region, so let's do that. Run the extraction subsidies, even though it's technically not doing anything yet. Then is the extraction subsidy? Yeah, the extraction subsidy is generating more revenue everywhere. It's actually doing the most in Delta Base because we've got the most in Delta Base. With 3 industries in theory that it's affecting. And to be fair, the electronics is useful. It's mostly military use, though. Military and a little bit of education. And the education's a flat modifier for having electronics. Check up on the factions and their taxes. We want to lower the income tax a little bit more to try to get the roll up into the green. Let's do that. Income tax, I suppose. Actually, I could go even farther and try to get the middle class in. Let's do that. There we go. Resource tax we've maxed out. Because we don't really care about the aristocrats, although they're... because we have enough other sources of unrest reduction. But we can ignore the fact that they're unhappy. They like that resource tax. And then for the moment, I think we like keeping those factions happy. Otherwise, we would raise this a little bit more. Stability is recovering. We would like it higher, of course. About halfway through that tech. Population's up to 2 million. We may have actually doubled in population, which is nice. The diplomacy is working. I can try to diplomatically annex these guys if we get them up to 50, so we're just going to be patient. It's 1 a year, so it's going to take like 6 years. And we might be able to invite them in a couple years to United Front. And now that the Ballad of Zion has completed the consumer goods, we've got 5% more development equilibrium per level, so that's another 25%. And it is now one of our more profitable regions at 2.7k, so that's offsetting the fact that the nuclear reactors have an upkeep cost. Okay, we're just going to be paying down our debt a little bit while we wait for our colonies to expand. Yeah, we're at the point where we can grab our first culture. I think I'm going to work down Frontier Spirit, because I think the plan that I'm going to go with is, yeah, we're going to try to make a red Mars. But the moment we're done colonizing Mars, we're not going to stop colonizing, we're just going to move to other planetary bodies. So no interplanetary splinter cultures would be nice for that. Or colony range obviously is useful, so on and so forth. So we want to work up this line first. There's a whole bunch of useful ones. And these are the ones that are pre-assigned. We could replace them with other ones by paying 10. Right now we've only saved up 5. We could add new ones because we just passed into the second era. For every era you pass into, you get access to 1 additional culture trait. Trade group. Okay, we're going to start with Frontier Spirit. Oh, it's doing it. Oh, have I been ignoring it for a bit? I'm able to pick up 2 of these. Yeah, we'll pick up 2 of them. Exploration and sense of adventure. Better debt. That's getting better. Check to make sure we've got no competition. We do. Once I hit 10k, so actually this is sitting at 10. When we've got a colony going, I'll actually go raise the first military unit. Let's go ahead and also export some more additional industry capacity. And yeah, we should get back into positive revenue soon. Or positive balance soon. Now, to accelerate the colony, because we're so close to positive, I'm going to invest in infrastructure, because this speeds it up. Acclimatization's done. So this is additional habitability, additional pop growth, additional stability. Here on Mars, we don't have perfect habitability. So that 2% extra habitability is about, or mitigates the negative effects by about 2% here. So a little bit more development equilibrium and a little bit more population we can hold in these regions. And the more open population space that you have, I believe, the more rapidly your population grows. And yeah, we're just sitting here waiting for stuff to build out. Also looking, I should be a little bit more proactive in checking. Mars, France, French outpost versus Nova Germanica. Should be looking for opportunities to take. Well, actually, I've been holding off because we haven't an army. Now I have an opportunity here to actually get an army, so let's go ahead and get an army going. 1 infantry unit. Here we go. Of course, we'll need to buy some of our military back, or some of our industry back. To afford its construction. I should get in when I see opportunities to sort of dogpile someone. I should do it. That's what should be going on here. We're back in the positives. I am gonna probably invest in a building in this location as soon as it's built, as soon as it's colonized. Anyway, now that we're back over the stability, I think we're in a good location where we'll be interested in trying to take stuff over if there's a visible opportunity about it. It's about 60% regenerated. Take the next culture trait, so greater colonization range I don't necessarily need right now. I suppose it might make sense to grab the electronics here. The existing electronics is in theory producing 2.7. Put that. Those here. And in theory, it only costs me 1.3, so probably worth doing it. Okay, that region finished colonizing. Let's go ahead and grab hydroponics or iron. Probably keep going with the steel. So do another thing of steel mining here. And I've got money, so I should be spending in places where I've got usable resources. So we've done all the base resources here. Not done them all here. So we've got our power plant, got consumer goods. Let's do another lithium here. So the lithium is computers. Computers. You can do manufacturing, so let's do manufacturing. Or you have a bonus to manufacturing, so let's do some manufacturing there. Consumer goods. Back in debt, although I should really get another colony going. Oh, because of the iron ammo script. Let's have the colonists there. And pause, let time pass. Army is ready. Diplomacy-wise, we do have... Here on Mars, we do have one war. We have the Mars-French versus the Mars-German war. Probably want to declare war on Nova Germania. Start something. Actually, where is Nova Germania first here on Mars? There. So we don't share a land border with them. So we presumably have to walk through someone. Okay, let's just keep watching for the moment. Yeah, I'd have to move through the French, probably, or through the unclaimed territory. Okay, let's ask if they will give us military access. They might not. Oh, interesting. That pissed them off. Looks like it may have pissed them off. Okay, so they gave me the military access, but they'll lower their opinion of me. Fair enough. And the syndicate's down there. We're at the point where we can do a diplomatic annexation, so we will. Let's grab some more stuff. There we go. So, former administration, current administration was... Or, technically they still rule there, they're just our subjects. So we get minus 100% administration, minus 80% admin efficiency maximum, but in exchange we get lower unrest. For the moment, they've got everything built down there that we kind of are interested in, so we'll just let that be. Expanding the red. Spreading the red. Waiting for Ada to move. Okay, it's arrived. Grab Colonial Space Fleet. And yeah, I want to get involved. I say I want to get involved. I want to do something to take advantage of the ongoing war. Mars-Chinese Arestiani War and Mars-French-Germania War. So the war's still ongoing, okay? Badland, no, that's not really. Mars-Chinese. So this is the Arestani and the Mozambique. Okay, so I'm apparently involved in this war. How did I get into that war? Oh, because the people we integrated with had an army, and it's deployed. They actually occupying that region? Is there a way I can get you? Say march down to our southern territories. Yeah, apparently I can trespass on the unclaimed territory. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, back in positive revenue. Let's build out the infrastructure in the colony to get going a little faster. And then industry development 2 is done. More resource capacity, more stability gain from factions. Good to see. And I actually have more industrial capacity than we need, so we can export some of it. It's the wrong way. Mozambique. The Alliance is apparently at war with them, but apparently I am not. I want to join Mozambique set if I were to do that. Mozambique, can I join your war? Okay. I think that worked. I think that's why these guys are low morale, because they're effectively black flagged. Going to link the morale back, and then we'll march back in. I think the people we're at war with, we significantly outnumber them. Yeah, I outnumber them like 10 to 1. Should hopefully not be too difficult. Famous last words. So, I've got that built, that built, that built. Let's do iron into farming here. So iron next. A little bit of capacity building stuff. And then on the place with the big... Yeah, that's probably the best one. Got 6 iron, got 2 heavy metals here. There's a couple different ways I can use to boost the sector, one of which is resource extraction. Provides a bonus to both refining and agriculture. So I don't know if consumer goods industry is considered refining, but I do know that the steel refinery is. Well, first, let's improve the infrastructure here. Apparently I can do that twice. We'll do one for the moment. If I can do that twice, I probably can do... Well, I'm surprised I can do it twice there. Yeah, we'll get that built. Because that'll make all the future stuff we build there very cheaper to build. Okay, you were there. You were there. Oh, that's 2 armies stacked, okay. 2 new Canton armies. Let's order them to move into neighboring hostile territory. We'll keep what we gained. I'm gonna say no, just because I don't know if I'm actually going to be getting anything yet. Mozambique has a real big army. Good thing they're on our side. What happened to my army? My entire army disappeared. Got destroyed. I'm gonna send the demands that they hand these territories over. I think they will. Okay, so we lost our army, because I'm not entirely sure why we lost our army. The army got destroyed. We did manage to take territory in the meantime. It's gonna take 120 months for them to integrate, and we should stay reasonably stable during that step. In the meantime, to keep unrest at a minimum, let's unrest in those 2 places. So 100% unrest in both of them, but the rest is decreasing. War has been resolved. They have been shrunk as a side effect of the war. I think I probably would have built in both of them is in fact the iron, so that works out. And we are probably going to want a spaceport, so I'm not going to complain that it's a spaceport. Let's grab some steel here. Leave the factory there. So let's grab some steel here, because that's the resource in the region. And oh, that's already steel. Grab some heavy metals, goes into manufacturing. Consumer goods. wouldn't necessarily be a terrible place for farming either, but we'll hold off with one in every place. Colony is not quite done. Let me also go ahead and try to build some new army. Got the manpower, so let's use some of it. Get some new units up and functional. See how that goes. Okay, colony finished. Get some iron going, some steel going in that colony location. Send colonists here, build infrastructure. Try to basically link up our territory if I can. I want to free up diplomatic power by integrating this subject, right? So, might want to get involved in the French-Mars-German war, but of course I want to get the army back together for that first. We are continuing to improve relations with you, so let's continue doing that. Southern Waste Confederacy. 50. I think we just improve relations. So maybe not Nova Germania. I can only get plus 50, I think, with improved relations. So if ideology is already putting us negative, then I cannot make them happy. Fair enough. New Petersburg. Here in Arbiter Steel area, let's expand the infrastructure. Expand the infrastructure here. In the long run, that will save us resources. In the short run, it probably is expensive. It's costing stuff, but. So we'll do a farm here, and then we'll go probably resource extraction after the farm. Unrest is rapidly filling those regions. It's good to see. See all the regions and how much money we're making or losing. New Canton, for example, is actually technically losing us money. Grab our next trait. Let's pick up for the Empire. The Premier is dead. Long live the next Premier. Yeah. The only region still costing us, although technically it's costing us because it's providing a spaceport. Spaceport's probably worth it. Reminding me that stability is high, and education 2 is now done. More education efficiency, more stability gain for factions. Got a Q 4 deep still. Probably after we're done with that key, we're going to move over into technology proper. Maybe go towards fusion reactors so we can get better fusion. The fusion power plant. And some more energy sector levels. That requires nanocomposites. Where's the nanocomposites in the tree? That's where the nanocomposite factory is. So I'll have to source some nanocomposites somewhere first, apparently. Mass production for manufacturing sector level wouldn't be bad. Yeah. Probably gonna move into technology after we're done with the culture ones. Looking at the time, I think we're at a good place for the first part break. We're about an hour here into the run, and I am at the point where going forward, let's stoke the revolutionary fever over here in our United Revolutionary Front. Getting some more unit morale. I think they'll buff the unit morale on there. We'll see how that works. But yeah, not off to a terrible start. We're up to 5 million population. We're stably taking over 2 regions at the moment. We got 37,000, so we've increased the treasury revenue by a factor of 37. So let's see if we can keep the income going up. So if you're watching on YouTube, we'll have another part up tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, I will be back after a short break to get up stretch legs, sip some tea. Just a reminder, I am running Stellaris music as the background music here instead of the game's native music. Just because I didn't know if the native music in the background here would be YouTube friendly or Twitch friendly. I know Stellaris is. So we're running a sort of a sci-fi music theme in the background. If you're have any comments to respond or comments to leave me, feel free to leave them, whether you're watching here on Twitch or later on YouTube. I am recording it locally for upload to YouTube. Will be uploaded in 1080p and 60 frames per second. Twitch is getting whatever can be streamed live at the time, which may mean that Twitch, if the internet is compliant, is actually getting a higher quality product. Although they frequently the internet isn't good enough, and they're probably getting a lower quality product because I'm streaming the native resolution, likely of the monitor, whereas YouTube gets a guaranteed 60 frames per second 1080p. Because the upload there can take its time. But yeah. So until next time, I'm going to wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part and/or stream, and bye for now.